doing live again, and I was going to do a video. I was going to body catches. I don't know what it's saying, but to do a video and just thinking about. I keep seeing this comment um, a little bit, and I think the same thing. Um, why? How have people been so gullible to let someone take over them? Like something ain't right with back in the day and how uh, things have happened and they just take over a whole group of people. Something just ain't right with that. And then I could see that, you know, being older and watching the cult like mindsets and stuff. And so anyway, so I was talking to somebody last night, and what it stems from is when you're in a position, whether it be in the workplace, intimate relationships, where you have to become that stoic, mm, no reaction, you know, straight face persona, depending on the position you're in at the moment, and just take in what is given to you. And so I was talking to somebody about that. They were willing to do an interview. They're off though now until next week. And but then I said, no, let me get my thoughts together. There'll be somebody really good to interview. Um, they're licensed personnel. Um, just such a awesome, well-rounded person. But then as I was talking to them, because they listen and they try to indulge and you know just dealing with people. They know how to deal with people and know how to whatever. So what I was trying to explain to him about, I said I'm trying to grasp and think about the word, the phrase systemic reform, right? And then I was trying to he's prior service, and I spent a whole career with my ex-husband as you know a military spouse, 30-year military spouse, and did the whole retirement thing. Um, and whatever I was trying to explain, he was like, "It can't be the same." You know, you have to. Mm, Put your foot down, boom, boom, bam. This is how it is because with the military, it's like it's about protection. So you train to kill. You're trained to take people out, right? Whereas in the hospital setting, for example, it's care and compassion. So there's two different ways to approach with the systemic reform. And I believe, what watching things in the world and what has happened recently, it just it's a message and it can trickle down, and you can see um, certain behaviors that can that are being identified, and certain things that can be changed to make um, things better as we're going forward, and that's what's happening. And it's like you build, and you have to build from the bottom and keep going up, but it's like it's so much mm, bad stuff underlining that you have to break down. It's like a chisel. You have to keep chiseling at it to break it down, to get through it. And it's real, real hard. And so, looking at it from a broad perspective, like, say, for example, and I only can speak from my experiences and working in the hospital. Um, it's really, really hard when when people don't look within themselves. They're constantly pointing the finger. They sometimes, we as people cannot get out of that. Um, this is the way it's always been. And then if they're superior over you, it's like, how do you get in there to give your spill as well? And so, okay, I don't have this structure to talk like and I haven't thought it out. I'm just talking from the top of my head, and I'll share like something. The mindsets are just something else. So, okay, so when I was talking to him, he said, "Am I reaching you? Am I getting to what you're trying to think?" And I was like, "No, you're taking me off track of my mind. But what you're doing is bringing up some good stuff. I mean, I was like, I'm already there on what you're trying to say as far as people and understanding. It's not about color. It's not about all this stuff political. It's not all that stuff plays a part, but that's not what it's about. It's more about actions and people personalities, people behaviors, and things of that nature. And I said I'm beyond. I'm not beyond that point. I said I went through that point, but I'm trying to get through to something else. And going through change and trying to make change in an environment, some people have been so successful at it, but it's still really hard because of all the bad stuff that continues to remain. And you know what? It's not only about kicking out and waiting for the old, not not necessarily an old head, but an old mindset to be gone, because they're always coming in. So it's like how to break down that old mindset. And sometimes I have done that and gotten people to think, um, and get out of that. I've had good results with that. But it's always, that's where the blockage always comes in trying to get ahead and trying to get things done, is that cult like mindset, those old decrypted mindsets, those holding on to, and those are the ones that look down and say, they don't want to hear what those that have the boots on the ground have to say. I don't know. Well, that's what I was talking about today is systemic reform, how to cut through the trash and get through it. What is, let me read some of this stuff. Did you protest for Palestine? This is, I'm in America. Um, like BLM. I don't understand. Uh, oh, so you know what that means. Ay, ay, ay. One of these days, um, I'll have, I guess the more and more I do this, I'll get different type of engagement. But, so, working in the workplace environment, um, a lot, sometimes you see things, okay, for example, you see things that are going on and you want to say something, and you can say something and give it suggestions, and but then there are those that say, why even go through it? Like, you hear all the negative stuff of why even bring it up? It's not going to be changed. Or this is something happened recently, and they say, well, they don't even, come and introduce themselves, and they know what you do and this and that or whatever, and it's not going to change. And I always err on the side of, I'm going to try anyway. Like, I'll put in for something that I see that can make a change and see what happens. You know, I've had success with that before, but it's just interesting how most not only don't do the same as something I'm thinking, like, I'm going to speak up, I'm going to give requests and suggestions, and then most times it's those that don't agree with that. They will bring up so much negative stuff to the point where you won't have to. I feel uncomfortable doing this live. Bring up things where it's like it just drains your energy and make you think that you shouldn't do it. But I don't know. Looking at now, it's I don't know what to say. But I did have something on my mind about systemic reform. Let me see if I can read. I was thinking and taking notes last night. A lot of it is just looking within, and then when other folks don't, is how to not get discouraged when other folks are not doing the same thing you're doing. Other folks don't think the way you do. And it's like how to keep going, even though they don't. You have something on your mind, and you know that you can get done and think, and how not just don't get discouraged when there's so much negativity coming, so much you can't do this and you can't do that. There's so much things will never change. How to get past that and don't let that stop you in any type of relationship. Definitely the workplace, definitely intimate relationships, definitely family relationships. Don't let it stop you from doing what you want to do, and saying what you want to say if it's making the change that you want to do. And eventually you'll notice that others will cling on, and you'll see them in the back somewhere, wherever you can see them doing the same thing eventually, or something similar eventually. And the only way that's going to get done is if those that continue giving suggestions, continue to make change in positive ways, and then just don't let it get to you. Just keep going and going and going and going. That's it. But anyway, that's my live today. And I'm just going to be, in the next few days, looking more into systemic reform, uh, and try to present in ways where I'm not frustrated and I'm not holding back when I respond to people that, like, I'm not going to be afraid to respond. That's it.